Bienvenidos, mis amigos frijoles. This is another episode of Extree. It is still your week 25 State of the Beanian address, but you know, it's been a while since we spoke, so there's two this week. Our second profile in beaniness this week is a shout out to a friend, a cracked family member, an incredibly funny stand-up writer, performer, Teresa Lee, who has her own podcast that is phenomenal called You Can Tell Me Anything. We highly recommend you check it out. It's on iTunes and Stitcher and everything now. It features many people you know and love as guests, and the concept is basically comedians and pals of Teresa's, people in our extended communities, telling her something they've never told anyone. That either happened to them alone and they never recounted it, or a secret that has only ever existed in their mind. It's a tall order, and it's an interesting podcast, so check it out. We also want to announce how excited and proud we are to be in talks with Maggie Mae Fish, one of our favorite creators, also available on Patreon. Check her out, to launch a new podcast that she has created, will host, edit, everything. It's her thing. We're just happy to have her on board. It's going to be called My Top 8. And I'm going to leave it to her to sort of pull the lever on when buzz should start building up and when she's going to explain what it's about. But she's great, so it's going to be great. We've already heard the idea, and it rocks. And it's going to be coming out on the Small Beans Network in coming months. Also on the horizon, a new video series starring myself, Katie Stoll, and Cody Johnston. That's all I'm saying. More news later. I am editing a new round of life hacks this week that will begin launching next week, hopefully, or the week after. And last but not least, this episode's call to action. By the time this episode drops, I will have posted a demographics poll on our Patreon page and probably linked to it in my Twitter feed. If you are a fan and you want to help us out, we are currently courting advertisers for the first time. And something that would really help us out is if you could take this 2-minute survey that basically is just your demographics information. That will help us court advertisers. If we got enough advertising money, we could evolve from being a Patreon to like a company. And then we could make even more stuff that's even bigger, and you wouldn't have to pay jack shit. So that's a goal of ours, and that's on the distant horizon, but we're beginning that process, and you could help us out by filling out that survey if you have the time. Again, you can find that on our Patreon page under posts, or probably on my Twitter feed as well. That's it for the update. So without further ado, let's pass it over to Jonny Papes and see what he's got for us this weekday. Again, second time this week, but today's. Jonny, go. Extree, Small Beans News, where the first part is generally true, and the second part is either true or a joke, making us 67% more accurate than any other news source. Read all about it. President Trump's team produced and released a trailer to show North Koreans Kim Jong-un during their denuclearization/handshaking summit. The trailer features a Sylvester Stallone cameo, shots of Trump and Kim intercut with an NBA slam dunk, and absolutely no sense of irony. Although the vast majority of political analysts have called a good outcome unlikely, except from China's point of view, Trump has called it an historic moment, potentially deserving of the Nobel Peace Prize, and already announced that the trailer will be followed by an 11-movie saga a la the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which will finally allow his base to live entirely in a world of their own fanciful imaginations. Analysts have further pointed out that Trump took an unprecedented step by allowing North Korea to appear as an equal to the U.S. in propaganda materials, despite Jong-un's long history of, quote, dictatorship, brutal executions, and human rights violations. Trump's team has objected to the comparison, saying Trump's agenda couldn't be more different. For example, his potential delay of the 2020 election, getting more DACA dreamers murdered in Mexico, and keeping Puerto Rico and Flint without drinking water for as long as humanly possible. Hashtag completely different. Extree. In sports news, the Warriors beat the Cavs in a thrilling I'm already bored. Please feel free to listen to this headline again during next year's NBA playoffs. Extree. ICE agents continue to split up the families of American dreamers, leading to at least one death when a 19-year-old from Iowa was sent to Zacatecas and killed 3 weeks after arriving. For our international audience, we will recap. There were these hundreds of millions of brown people in Mexico and most of what is now the southwestern United States. White people came with some new machines called guns guns and killed most of them and kicked the rest out. Later, it turned out that work was hard, so the white people invited the brown people back and in fact shipped them to the U.S. by the busload to work menial jobs. Look up the Bracero program. Now the white people have more robots to do the menial jobs, so they want the brown people to leave again because they're scared of brown people. To prevent that, the government invited immigrants to register themselves in the name of the American dream and become dreamers who could enjoy special privileges in their journey towards full citizenship. That exact list of information people voluntarily registered is now the list used to find brown people for ICE to separate from their families, up to and including nursing babies from their mothers. In related news, the brown people were already leaving the U.S. more than they were entering because, in case it wasn't clear, white people can be difficult to work with. Extree, extree! Read all about it! Read all about it! E3 Gaming Convention emphatically confirms that there will still be video games going forward, everyone loses all of their shit. Read all about it! Read all about it! New study reveals declining interest in STEM careers among American boys, while girls' interest remains stable. Male readers, to understand what this means, please find a girl near you and ask her to draw you a diagram. If you don't know what STEM stands for, you're already too far behind. Stop reading the paper now and use it to fashion a starter bindle. Why the demographic shift? Well, one author of the study hypothesizes that men may feel less pressured to succeed in academia and more encouraged to explore, quote, riskier careers, such as chef, artist, internet comedian, totally unqualified public official, internet chef, counterintuitively racist rapper, unpunished rapist/lacrosse star, or totally underqualified internet comedian. Self-zing! Read all about it! Read all about it! Malaysian Airlines passenger Manad Marks has been sentenced to 12 years in prison after attempting to hijack a flight with a fake bomb made of flashing lights and random electronics components, including a cell phone. His harsh sentence was handed down after he pleaded guilty to the heinous crime of not putting the phone in airplane mode during takeoff, a federal offense. Oh, also terrorism. Read all about it. Small Beans News, published by SB News Incorporated, a subsidiary of Destiny Pictures. Read all about it. Read all about it. Following the G7 summit, to which he arrived late and left early specifically to depress Shinzo Abe, President Trump has called for French President Emmanuel Macron and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to be demolished by his Twitter army, while also tweeting that he feels Russia should be invited back into the fold. #no collusion. Meanwhile, having found a common enemy to galvanize their cultures, Macron and Trudeau announced they plan to make beautiful public love in a field in the exact center of Quebec. Go Canadiens! Read all about it, read all about it! Kanye West, iconoclastic rapper and vocal Trump supporter, has followed up his new album Ye by launching a shoe line, using nude models who look like his wife, a reality TV star who's catapulted to fame after her televised friendship with the daughter of a Hilton hotel mogul caused the public to notice the size of her ass. This has been a headline from the Unpredictable Headlines department. Read all about it, read all about it! Social and economic mobility has hit an all-time low in the U.S., shattering the dreams of hard-working paper boys everywhere. I was so sure we'd make it to California. I was gonna set me up a little general store. Ah, well. Uh-oh. Is that blood? Moving on. For the first time since before the Civil War, a measure to split the state of California into multiple territories will be on the November ballot. The measure, proposed by a Silicon Valley venture capitalist, calls for California proper to shrink to a fifth of its size, with Southern California extending from San Diego eastward to Nevada, and northward to the point where stuff starts becoming awesome, at which point every single amazing thing California is known for outside of LA has been carefully carved out to be absorbed by the Greater Bay Area and Silicon Valley venture capitalists. Tim Draper, leader of the movement, has said, quote, "Well, you see, with the gentrification of Oakland nearly complete, it's time to annex most of the state. Our programmers need more room to do Molly and complain about how being wealthy hasn't brought them lasting happiness. Extree, extree, read all about it. Melania Trump was gone for a month but reappeared for lunch with her matrimonial chump. The White House maintains that her absence was due to kidney surgery, rather than recent revelations of her husband's repeated infidelity. But sources close to the First Lady have revealed that she was in fact having her her vagina sealed until the divorce papers go through. Read all about it. Small Beans News, the only newspaper whose release can be delayed a week by the Fallout Vault game getting ported to the Nintendo Switch. Extree. Stormy Daniels' bombastic attorney Michael Avenatti has called for hackers and leakers to help him expose the porn-watching habits of Rudy Giuliani, following Giuliani's insulting public comments about his client. An internet petition reading, quote, "We get what you're going for, Mike, but we really don't want to know," has already garnered more than 800,000 signatures online. Read all about it. Extree. This just in. Astronomers admit the only constellations that matter are Orion and Ursa Major, and the rest are just filler. I knew it. Cancer my ass. They're just a bunch of squiggles. Of course, I'm a Sagittarius, and we're naturally skeptical, so I would say that. Extree. New study shows Antarctica's ice shell is melting at thrice the rate previously thought. However, scientists believe the technology needed to capture carbon directly from the air in an efficient way is also just around the corner. So this paper's official stance is keep rolling them dice. We're sure they'll invent the de-global warmer before the ice finishes melting, right? In related news, $250 on Baby's Breath to place in the second. Hit me on 16, $500 on Red 12, and hand me that mostly unloaded revolver. Alright, well, he lost. I guess your luck can't hold out forever. So Jonny Papes is dead again. But don't worry, because he's essentially a cartoon character, so we're going to be fine. I promise the next Extree will not come out 6 weeks from now. Maybe 3 weeks from now. We'll see what I feel like. But until then, thank you so much for listening, and we love you. This has been a Small Beans endeavor. We're a bunch of pals who make podcasts, sketches, music, web series, and movies. The beans always have new ideas percolating, so make sure to check us out at patreon.com/smallbeans. That's patreon.com/smallbeans, where you can browse all of our current and past content, see what we've got planned in the future, and learn how your support can help the small beans grow into huge, giant monster beans. If you enjoyed this content module, please like, rate, subscribe, or tell a friend about us. We love you!